Mage Wars. It's a really cool board game. Got Eric to sit down with them and run a demo. What did you think?
It's a great new innovative game. It covers a lot of the stuff most players are used to. Resource management, cards, battling, and it's all arena based. And the best part is, you really never know what you're going to go up against.
So we interviewed a couple of the guys that were there.
Oh yeah, I got a good interview with those guys.
Okay, let's go ahead and roll it.
I'm Alan Girding.
I'm Patrick Connor.
All right, guys, and you guys are. How do you guys get into Mage Wars? Like, who started it? What's going on?
Mage Wars is the first game from a new publishing company, Arcane Wonders. Our president and CEO is Brian Pope, the creator of Mage Wars, based out of Dallas, Texas. He and his son Ben started developing Mage Wars about 5 years ago, and Alan and I were brought in on the design team and playtest team within the past year. So we've been helping with the game, and now the game just was released to the public and available in local game stores this past Friday.
Just on Friday, yeah. Which was that the 21st?
That was 21st.
21st, yeah. Good times.
Okay, so tell me, what's the whole game about? Like, what's the game about?
Mage Wars is a tactical arena combat game.
What isn't it about?
It's about everything. That's right. And it is a miniatures game that uses cards to represent the miniatures. What that does is it allows you as the mage to have a spell book full of all your spells, of your equipment and your creatures and your enchantments, powerful enchantments you can play.
Yeah.
And these become objects in the game. They either have a one-time use and get removed from the game, or they come into play and become part of the game. And then you start making all your tactical decisions over a 4x3 grid of different zones.
Yeah. In fact, the way I like to start the pitch is usually I ask players, like, what do you like to play? And they may say something like Magic the Gathering, or here, especially at the SoCal SmackDown,
right. Miniatures.
There's a big presence of miniatures. So we've been getting a lot of miniatures customers because it's great. It's like, because what happens is that as you summon creatures onto the board, these creature cards take the place of miniatures. So for instance, if someone's a big fan of Warhammer, and that's one of the first, when I think of miniatures, I think of Warhammer. Imagine this. War Machine. Well, imagine this. You have your entire codex in hand. So as you go through, in a codex, you're thinking, oh man, here's like this Iron Giant. I should go out and buy that guy, and then maybe I can spend the points on him and put him in my army. Here, boom. You've got all of your guys right here. When you summon them, they're right there on the board with you. Now I've got Gorn the Werewolf just running around doing some damage. If I decide I want a Firebrand Imp or an Angel or something like that, boom, it's right there running around. And let's suppose I have a really small guy. And this is the other reason. So I say there's two reasons why Mage Wars is awesome. One is the spell book. Because with Magic the Gathering and other types of collectible card games, this isn't collectible. It's customizable. You know exactly what you're getting.
And we're never going to have any rares, uncommons, things like that. When we do boosters and expansion packs, everybody is going to get the same kind of set. So they'll know exactly what cards are in the set. It'll be the same. Everybody will have the same pool of cards to draw from when they create their spell book.
And that's it, the spell book. It's all available to you. You don't have to wait to go ahead and go to the store and hope you get it in that booster pack. You know it, you got it, that kind of stuff.
That's right.
So that's big deal number one. Big deal number two, as I like to say, is the enchantment spells. And this adds so much tactics and strategy to the game. Because most of the spells, when you cast them, you see what happens, it's right then and there. But if you look at the enchantment spells, they have 2 mana costs. All enchantment spells have 2 to cast, but then there's a reveal cost. Because when you play these, they go face down, and you don't reveal them until later. So maybe I have a small ferret, and someone's thinking, well, that's not a big deal. It's a small ferret, maybe it's a Timberwood fox, something like that. So they almost ignore them, but I have all these enchantments. I get to their mage, I start revealing these enchantments. Eagle wings, rhino hide, bear strength, there's so many. The Beastmaster is the master. of enchantments. So is the priestess, but I love so many of these enchantments. So now they thought just a small ferret, just a small little fox, but now they're dealing with like a flying fox with bear strength and rhino hide armor. It's incredible.
Well, not only do you have enchantments that pump up your creatures, but like the warlock specializes in enchantments that are curses. So instead of beefing up your creatures, the warlock is all about damaging or cursing the opponent or the opponent's creatures, and also placing different tricks and traps in the arena. So you can also put an enchantment in a zone that some unsuspecting creature or unsuspecting mage wanders into, and then you end up springing that trap.
Like a fire trap. That's what I love. So imagine you have the two mages here, and let's suppose maybe the warlock puts a fire trap in here, and so this is getting sent across, you reveal it, boom, everything in the zone explodes kind of deal. But there's also enchantments that are decoys. So you can put something in here, it's a decoy, and maybe the creature goes all the way around the decoy and you reveal it, haha, it does nothing but give me mana. So there's so much faking out, so much environment. There's conjurations that actually alter the way the board works. So you can put a flame wall so they walk around it, but then you can use a force push spell that pushes them right through the flame wall that they just spent all that time walking around.
And one of the neat things about the game is you don't rely on manipulating resources to get your mana to cast your spells.
Yeah.
Every mage has this innate ability to draw magical energy from its surroundings. Channeling. And there are different conjurations in the game that can add or subtract from a channeling value. So, the conjurations are kind of like a living enchantment. They come into play and they have a life value, and so if you have a mage that has a mana flower out and he's getting more mana every turn than you are, you might have to run across the arena and go destroy, defeat that conjuration in order to level the playing field again.
That was annoying. I played against a priestess who laid a whole bunch of mana flowers all over the place. How many of those things you got? So I had to actually spend the time on killing mana flowers because she just had so
time,
much
resources.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's an incredible game because of all the things that it actually does. And because of that, you can always adapt to your opponent's strategy. For instance, let's suppose someone does put up these firewalls, right? It's like, oh man, I have to either find something that's fireproof to go through those firewalls, or why don't I just start summoning flying creatures that will just fly right over it?
That's right.
So that's the beauty of having this, is that you can try to plan ahead as much as you want, but because you have all the spells, you have real-time adaptation to whatever your opponent does. I wasn't expecting that. But good thing I have my entire spell book to change what I'm going to do.
And when you're building your spell book, you get to choose from a number of different schools of magic, whether it's holy magic, war magic, arcane magic, nature, and depending on what school of magic your mage specializes in, that's how many spell points it's going to be to put in your spell book.
Your spell books are different based on the different mages you have too. So the incredible thing is, with the base set, you get all 4 of the starting mages, and we're going to eventually have more mages coming out.
That's right. The first expansion is going to be the Force Master and the Warlord.
It's pretty cool stuff. Each one of these mages have their unique feel too. Like the priestess is really good at keeping creatures alive. She has the restore ability, which she can undo. Like if you have a whole bunch of creatures that are on fire, she snaps her fingers, they're no longer on fire. Take that, warlock. But the wizard has basically like a mana shield, an arcane shield. So instead of taking damage, it's just the shield's getting hit. Then there's the blood pact. Oh, I love it. With warlock has a feel where he can actually have a demon, have a blood pact. So when that demon does damage, it heals the warlock himself.
And similarly, the Beastmaster can make one of his creatures that he puts on the board his pet.
Right.
And then that pet gets some bonuses like bonus defense and bonus melee
attack. Pet steroids.
That's right.
It's like pet gets beefier. Absolutely. He's also really good at summoning a bunch of creatures. Because normally people can only summon one creature at a time. Not the Beastmaster. He's the master of beasts.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So between all of this, having different unique feels, and they're all masters of different schools of magic. So that means when you build the spell books, it's really easy for the priestess to have a whole bunch of holy spells. Now the warlock could have holy spells, but he's paying triple. If I remember.
He's going to have to pay triple. So when you're way outside your realm or your expertise school of magic, you're going to pay triple.
So I could have healing spells in my warlock spell book, but that's a small spell book.
Or I could have a dark priestess.
You could. That's a small spell book though, right?
That's
She's throwing curses and summoning demons. That's not very priestess-like. So
right.
Yeah, that's the way the game works.
And so we are also going to be coming out with booster packs that will be either theme-based or School of Magic-based, that in the future you'll be able to augment your school book, your spell book, with multiple copies of some of the spells.
So you guys have really thrown about all the games that people, like a lot of the good mechanics of games everyone loves, into one box and made it just fun for everybody.
Yes, that's right. We tried to take what people love most about like a CCG, what people love most about miniatures, and put that all together. Now, one of the things that we feel is a unique feature and really sells the game is the spell book, because you have access. There's no deck to draw from. You have access to whatever. When you build your spell book, you have access to each of those spells every round. And what you do is during the planning stage, you choose 2 spells that you want to cast out of your whole selection of spells, put them face down in front of you. And the mana cost for the spells, it's a generic type of mana, so you don't have to worry, do I have the right kind of mana? It's always the same mana. You have this mana pool, mana supply that you can build up, and you can build up as much mana as you want. There is no limit to how much mana you can have. And when you need that mana, you spend it to cast your spells, and the spells either come into the board and become part of the game, then you start making your tactical decisions and moving your troops over the board, or they have a one-time effect. One of the awesome types of spells are our attack spells. These are some of my favorite. You want to hurl a fireball or a lightning bolt across the arena, you can do that, and it's considered a ranged attack. Here we have Jet Stream. So those pesky flyers, pesky flyers come in, Jet Stream adds extra attack dice against those flyers, and then you just bash them into a wall. So it does a little bit extra damage too. So a lot of different options for you, a lot of different strategies. And what we found and what players have seen over and over again is that you may be down and you might be right near where you're going to die.
It just happened today.
Just happened today. You're about to die. You pick out the perfect spell that changes the tide and reverses the game.
And the game that
goes back and forth.
It was lifesteal. So what he did is he took so much damage from his opponent and gave himself life.
That's
and
right.
Then down over there, I remember it was a healing thing. It was the Warlock versus the Beastmaster. Oh no, Warlock versus the Priestess, and she just rolled heal and just all of a sudden was all healed up. So it really changes. Also, the condition markers. Have you talked about the condition markers?
No, I haven't.
All right, so the reason that spells have a whole bunch of different feel is it depends on what kind of spell you're doing. For instance, if you're casting a fireball spell or any fireball spell, you have a chance to burn any of the guys, and that's ongoing damage.
Here's a fireball. And what's interesting, if you look at any other card game or any other miniatures game, you get hit with a fireball, you roll the dice, you do the damage, it's done.
Right.
Here, the feel is we wanted to make it feel like you were really... So there's a chance you're going to be on fire, and every round take direct damage from that, from still being aflame. So
I remember some player just yesterday was saying, I don't understand, why am I getting burn damage if you didn't successfully hit me? It's like, well, you dodged the fireball, but it hit your clothes, so now your clothing's on fire, so you're still going to take it. Yeah, so it totally has that feel. There's daze, for instance, the Priestess has light spells that can totally daze and stun people, stun you, lose your turn. So everything has its own feel.
That's right.
All right, one thing I'm saying, this doesn't even leave out those people who love modeling and painters, because the characters seem like they're across like almost all the fantasy realms. So if someone really wants it, they could just say, well, I'm gonna play this card, but I want a model on the board. I want to see some models.
Right. In future, what we're going to do, we are starting an organized play system, and we're looking at different rewards. And one of the things we may be looking at are miniatures and for the future. We wanted to keep the game at a price point where it was accessible to all gamers. That's why we don't use models or figurines. But in the near future, you're going to have access to different models if you want to. If that's your gig, you can do it. And also, if you want to just grab, if you want to pick up a model, like you said, you can use it.
You can totally use it. Instead of using the wizard, just throw it on your wizard model.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I gotta say, this game looks amazing. I want to know though, what are you guys' favorite masters in this thing? Who do you like to use personally?
My favorite mage is the Priestess, and The priestess can summon angels, flying creatures, angels, holy creatures, and she does a lot of healing. So that's my personal favorite is the priestess.
Not mine.
Yeah, what's yours?
Not mine. Priestess is my least favorite because she keeps the guys alive more and things like that, and that's why I don't like her.
That's why I beat you every time.
Whatever, man. Anyway, so the idea is, originally I liked the Warlock because the Warlock's all about doing direct damage. He can handle his own stuff. Like the Beastmaster summons a bunch of creatures. One Warlock strategy is screw that, I'm just gonna walk over and punch you in the face.
Right, right. That's actually one of the neat things about it is you have, like the Beastmaster will summon a bunch of creatures and do a creature rush. The Wizard plots traps and tricks and steals your mana.
Right.
The Priestess turtles, build some defenses,
and it's generally
get some flying, annoying. But the Warlock can just go in, beef up with a bunch of armor, like Demon Hide armor, where if you attack him, you take damage because you attacked him, and go in with his lash of hellfire and just start beating you down alone. He doesn't even have to bring out any creatures.
No, because he has his direct damage spells, and then before you know it, your own mage has like 5 burn markers on him, and doing like 10 damage in between rounds. It's ridiculous, ongoing damage. But my actual favorite is the Beastmaster, because I like bringing out the Steel Claw Grizzly.
Yes,
giving away trade secrets here, right there. It's a very basic strategy. I bring out the Beastmaster, and then what I do is I go ahead and I bring out his Steel Claw Grizzly, which is a tough cookie because he has a whole bunch of health and he does a whole bunch of damage, especially if he hasn't moved yet. So the Steel Claw Grizzly, I bring him out, and he's a tough cookie on his own. He has a 3 armor, which means he can just ignore 3 damage, regular damage, 15 health. But then what I do is I just start enchanting him. So when I have the Steel Claw Grizzly, I'll go ahead
with a bear strength.
With bear strength, I'll give him Rhino Hide armor, so now he has even more armor, 5 armor. Good luck doing a little bit more damage. Then I will go ahead and do the bear strength. So a Grizzly with even more bear strength than he already has on his own does even more damage. And then my favorite thing to do is give him Cheetah Speed. And then I love giving him eagle wings, and before we know it, he's just flying around.
A flying bear that can move across the board very quickly.
Yeah, crazy.
And beefy. Now, what's one of the things about Mage Wars that we've really tried hard to deal with? There is no spell that says, "Oh, your creature's dead; it's just gone."
Right.
So, you can't just be like you worked on this creature, and then someone pulls one spell and it's a cheap shot and it's removed from the game.
I mean, there's some spells that are pretty powerful, but you got to pay the mana.
I'll put them to sleep.
Right. You put them. I hate the sleep spell. Anyways, yeah, sleep spell works way too well. In fact, in that game right now, his Timberwolf was just put to sleep.
Oh, so, yeah, exactly.
So it stinks. You got to wake up your own beast by smacking him. So, yeah, so there's almost limitless things you can do, because if I spend all of my time on the Steel Claw Grizzly, obviously my Beastmaster is vulnerable.
Right.
Usually what I do then is I give my Beastmaster Cheetah Speed so he just runs away while he's buffing up his bear.
Yep.
That's my favorite strategy.
For people who really want to get into this game and buy, how do they get a hold of it? Like what stores, what website, who's your distributor for harass, buy me, I want this game to buy?
Yes. Mage Wars is available right through us at our website, magewars.com. Okay, it's right through our online store, $59.99 plus shipping and handling. Or you can get it at your local game store, again, $59.99 plus tax. We go through all the major distributors, Alliance, Southern Hobby, PhD Games, so a number of different distributors all across the U.S. We also have already contacted some foreign distributors. And we're in Europe. We have sent some copies to Europe. We've sent some copies to Southeast Asia, Australia, so a lot of different places.
Yeah, and getting into it's really easy because, again, this one purchase is all you need for 2 players.
That's right.
So, I mean, if you look at this extensive list, it's pretty ridiculous because what you actually see on the table is what you pretty much get in the game. Right. You have everything you need, 322 spells, which you can mix and match, make your own spell book. Pretty crazy. You get
right there, I think that's worth it. If you look at any other collectible card game and you say, how much money would 322 cards cost in the packs?
Right.
You're already hitting, but you get so much more.
You get more. You get all the attack dice you need. You get all of the markers, the condition markers, the mana markers, the damage markers.
It's a 7-pound box.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Just loaded with stuff.
It's ridiculous. So yeah, we would love to have put miniatures in this, absolutely. But at the same time, we want someone for just $60 to have the game for life, and that's all you need to have.
That's right. And you'll notice the spell books. 2 spell books come with the game, and they hold sleeve cards. So those people that like to keep their stuff in pristine condition, or to mark who owns what,
right,
you can sleeve them, and those sleeve cards will fit in your spell books.
It's a good time.
All right, thank you guys. This looks like an amazing game, so I'm really happy to promote it. And so everyone who's watching this, harass your local game stores for Mage Wars, or go buy it on the internet.
Yay!
This is Eric from Red Steel, and we're out.
Have fun.
Thank you.